Hello everyone, welcome to the setup of iXL Core. We're continuing with a series of setup, and today under settings we are looking at the configure features. Under the configure features we have the customer, and this basically is the default. It remains perfect as a default. You can't change the country to have the country default whenever you are, but you don't necessarily need to change anything there. Change the visible tabs on the customer profile, what you want this customer to have access or to see on their profile. You can have all these for the customer to see. We shall see how these are seen from the customer perspective. The fields for registration on the registration form, you want the first name, the last name, and the contacts, and the company details. Any other information you want, you can tick or you can remove when you do not want that. That is for registration on the customer area. Do you want the company field? Yes, that is required and it's mandatory. If there is VAT number, you allow customer to register. Yes. Do you require for the administrator after customer register? No, but you can say yes. As an admin, you only approve once the customer register, but for purposes, because we have trial, we have free registration for 30 days, we say no on our purpose. Allow primary contact to manage other customer contacts. Yes, meaning the primary contact can add or remove from the customer side. The same settings, and then from here you want what you want the default contacts person's permission to have to see invoices. So they want to see all these, they will be able to see. You can't deny all these. You can't remove these rights so that they are not able to see. Same. Moving forward, we can have tasks. Tasks are different things. You want how staff can see the task. It's just permissions that you give and how you want to set them up. Nothing much. The default of all the tasks will be priority, but you can have different aspects, or you can change that every task will be low in priority. There's nothing to change. We use model IG, that is what is there in terms of the default. So nothing major or nothing to change. And once you're okay with whatever changing, you save the settings. From support, you can look at support and use it as a service in terms of disable ticket public URL. You can, so that there's no public URL raised from the ticket. You can allow staff to access the tickets that belong to their department, depending on the department. Staff ticket notifications for those who have been assigned. So these are just levels of rights that you can enable or disable depending on what you want to achieve from that. Most of the ticketing is through emailing, so you can allow this or say no, so that reply can be done even from the support. And that you can have a ticketing form which you can use or you can share. You can have the HTML code, or you can use the code for the clients to be able to access the level of support. So once you open that, you open a new ticket. A customer can fill it in, can attach everything. This can be on your website as a form that a client can fill in and ask or request service from whichever department that is there, and then fill it and send it forward. So that's the element of support. And then leads, of course, come through the clients. You want your default source of leads. You can have different sources of leads who fill in. We'll just find out how we can fill the sources of lead other than Facebook and Google, where we can add all the sources of lead. What are the status of leads? And Kanban view of that. And then we save the rest if we make any changes. In terms of customer, we have also on the side, when we are looking at the settings, on the side we have the customers. We're able to have groups. Here we can set up the different groups of customers. It is always important to set up a group. Say you want your customers who are dealing or who deal with services from you, and then you can save, and then you can set up another group of customers, say who deal with products, so that when you're creating a customer, they have different groupings, and for purposes of marketing, you are able to customize your marketing messages to the different groups. In terms of support, you're able to set up departments from here. You can create a new department. You can say the support department, and then you can have support email, and then same department email can be used here as the SMTP. The reason why you're setting up the email is so that when somebody sends support, an email to support@malilife.co.za, the support comes to our CRM. We're able to view it on our support, and we will look at support when you're looking at the module of support. So we're able to set that. And ensure that that is there. We can save, we save that once we ensure that everything is right, and we can test IMAP control. So if everything is okay, the system would give us a go ahead at green, everything is fine. But if the IMAP connection or the password is not right, the system will tell us that. So the authentication has failed. We need to just ensure the password is correct. So once it's correct, the system would work fine. Then we can also open another department and say probably the sales department, so we can have as various departments as you want, and you can have department emails. Once you're done, you click on save. Remember, it's a CRM, so we can, for ease, IXL Core has been set up to have ease in terms of response. So whenever we're going to deal with clients' response, we can have predefined responses set up on errors or on issues that the client would want to ask. So if a client wants to ask something to do with, I can't set up my email, so we can have a response and say email, and then give instructions here on how emails can be set up. So how does this help? This helps that once a client has an issue and says, I have an email issue, I can't set up my emails, we quickly can, on the support portal, just say, use this predefined response, give these are the instructions of setup, and the client can do that. We can add ticket priorities. We have low, medium, high, and we can add another priority and say we want the ticket to be urgent. So whenever somebody is picking that, they can pick a level of urgent as the priority. We have ticket status. We have what is open, in progress, answered, on hold, or closed. We can also add any just by adding a new ticket status. Our level of services can be added, whatever service we provide. In terms of spam filters, we can block senders and block senders or block emails that are from different, that have different subject lines. Because I've told you, emails from support would go into our support dashboard. Therefore, you're able to block certain emails or certain subjects or certain phrases that are found in the email. Moving forward on leads, you can also change the status of leads. We can say we have a new source of leads, and we change and we add another source and say we have WhatsApp as a source of lead, and we can have as many sources of leads. We can have walk-ins. We can have various sources of leads as we want to increase. The status of lead can be a lead one, it can be a customer lead, it can be a new lead, and we can give them new colors depending on what we want to achieve or see. So we save that, a new lead. We can have a status where we say proposal stage, just however we want to classify our leads, then it allows us to do. We shall see the status as we use. Then leads, we can have email integration so that when somebody sends an email, we can set up an active email integration and say our sales will be capturing all the leads. So once an email is sent on sales, it can capture the leads. We can set up all leads are coming in as new. We can add a new source and say the source can be emails. So that's easy to add a source, and then we can have a person who's responsible for all the leads that come in. And once we're ready, once we've tested the connection of the IMAP that is sales, then we know email is integrated with. So anytime sales, somebody sends an email to sales, an inquiry to sales, it becomes a lead on our CRM. That's how easy it is to get leads on our CRM. So mail dot email address, you can use sales and password. Once everything is set up, we can test the connection, we can save and test the connection, but now this is not connected, and that's why we have that error. So we must have a unique, which is not already there. So we need to have a different email to use. That is what we are getting there. Web to lead integration is where we can create a form, and this form would allow us to put it on the website. We can create a website form, put it on our website, and once somebody fills in the form with the information, then we're able to do that. When we're going to do about leads, we're going to delve more into the form of how we set up the leads. We proceed. In our next video, we'll look at finance, contracts, and estimates. For now, that's it.